Hey guys, today let us discuss about cache scope. Okay, so this we'll have in the core module, and in scopes we have something like cache here, right? So let us discuss about this today. And I have created this simple application. Okay, so this we know already. This is like always it will be like 8081. That is what I'll be using, and the path is cache. And you see here logger. I would be printing the payload which will be sending along with our HTTP request to this flow. And you see here I have added cache here. Okay, now uh, yes, and after that you see uh, here I'm logging the same input payload inside the cache. And after that what I'm doing, I'm fetching these details from the Salesforce. Okay, so ID, first name, last name, email, mobile phone from contact object. It's a standard object, right? So I'm fetching the information from that object where ID equal to record ID. So this record ID will be mapped from this thing, right? So this and this, like, so this is a kind of a key. This is a key which is holding the value of this thing, which I'm getting from the from this input request. Okay, you see here, this is what. So this will be uh, sent as an input to this query. Okay, now so if I enable this thing, expression mode, you could see that the payload.id is what I have assigned to record ID. Okay, and that is what I'm passing to the query. Okay, now we'll be getting some response, right? So you see in the advanced, we'll be getting some in the output section, we have something like payload. So we are not capturing that into any variable. So this will be set as a payload from this cache scope, and you see here I'm converting it to JSON. Okay, because if you print that response as is, it will be not in a readable format. So that's why I'm converting it to JSON, and I have set the payload, and this payload is what I'm printing here. Okay, and for now I have disabled this flow. I will let you know why I have created this thing. So this is scheduler which will be invoking this flow for every 10 seconds as per the configuration, and this is to retrieve the keys from the object store. Okay, and this is like just to print it whatever we have fetched from this retrieve all keys. Okay, so I'll let you know why I have configured this particular flow. Currently it is in stopped mode. I will enable, I'll make it start. Okay, whenever it is necessary. Okay, now this application is already up and running. Okay, and I'll show you the Salesforce interfaces as well. Salesforce records. So in contacts, I have created three records. Okay, so if I show you those records, let me cancel this. Click on all contacts and click on recently viewed contacts. So see, these are the three contacts I have created. Okay, and these are the three what I have opened in this tab, this one and this one. Okay, so let me close this thing. Okay, so here this is a one contact information. Okay, so if I click on edit, you'll see things like this salutation, first name, last name, phone, but this is mobile phone, email. Okay, so as per the query, we'll be fetching five details. One is the record ID. Okay, the other is first name, the other is the third one is last name, email, and mobile phone. Okay, so these are the five details. Of course, I am querying that record with ID only, but we'll be fetching these five details a minimum. Actually, few things will be getting as a default from Salesforce. Okay, so but primarily like we are fetching these five details from the Salesforce based upon the record ID. So record ID is nothing but, if I click on cancel here, this is the record ID, whatever you could see here. Even each and every contact, it's a kind of primary key or something like that. Okay, where you can identify each and every contact uniquely in Salesforce. So now let me copy these things into a notepad. Copy, and I'm copying this and also this one. Okay, now so you see here okay, click on edit. Now you see you could observe, right, first name, last name, and mobile, email, and the record ID. That is nothing but this one. Okay, so this one I'll be sending as a input. Okay, along with our request. So let me copy paste this. Click on send. Okay, so this has taken 2 minutes 27, sorry, 2.27 seconds. Okay, so you see here, we could see all the details. This thing, maybe it has come by default, but other five details are what we have fetched from the Salesforce query: email, first name, ID, last name, mobile phone. Okay, so this way now what happens? I mean, by default, this default caching strategy is enabled. Okay, now you see, when we send the request, this is the initial payload. I mean, this is the logger where I'm printing the initial payload, right? So that's why whatever I have sent, this object and ID values, they got printed because of this thing here, this initial payload. And here also the same thing. Now we queried the Salesforce and we got some response, and at last I was printing that. Okay, till here it is clear. Now uh, okay, now let me click on one more time. Let me click on send one more time. Okay, see, now you could see here, previously it has printed three loggers, right? Now you could see only two loggers got printed. That is nothing but this one and the last one. Okay, so this will definitely print, right? That is for sure. So in the second request, when we requested for the second time, okay, so this got printed and the last one got printed. Let me click the same thing for the third time. See, 10 milliseconds. Again 2, okay, 20 to 38, 50 seconds. Now let me clear this. Click on send. See, it is only printing two logs. One is this one, the other is the last one. So if you want to see that, uh, what do you say? In a debug mode, we can do that. So let me click on debug. So what is happening? It is fetching the information for one request, okay, and it will save in the default caching strategy. So which will use in-memory object store by default. Okay, so we cannot configure that object store, but we'll be getting uh, that facility by choosing this option. So you have to ideally choose either of these two, right? Yeah. So yes. Uh, so let us see. Let us send the same request once again and see how the propagation is happening within this flow in the debug mode. Okay. So let me clear this. Now click on send. See, it got printed already, this thing. Now the control is at this level. So I'm clicking on next. Okay, clicking on next. Okay, it is because I have restarted the application, right? So that is the reason it is going in. Okay, let me click on next. Click on next, and that's it. Now you see, um, yeah, three loggers got printed, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we have seen. Okay, it has taken almost, we did debugging, right? So that's why it has taken almost 30 seconds. Okay, now let me clear this. Okay, click on send once again. Okay, now let me click on this. See, from here the control has gone to here, and from there it has, the control has directly shifted to this. Okay, click on send and this. So that's why this logger and this logger got logged this time. And you see, because of debugging, we are getting the response with 15 seconds. But if I skip that thing, for example, if I send this thing now click on send. If I do it quickly, very quickly, so you see it is like in 5 seconds. So this is how it happens. Like when you So whenever something is already stored in the object store, in the next uh, request, it understood that okay, this is the same request what we got previously, or what for which we have the cache scope already created. Okay, so it returns the response from this level itself. Okay, so let me run this in the normal mode so that we can quickly cover this default caching strategy. Then we can look into reference to a custom strategy, cache strategy. Okay, so yes, so whenever you send a new request, what it does, it will query the Salesforce and it fetches the result and it saves in the cache. Okay, and whenever you send the same request, it will not query the Salesforce and it will simply send the uh, result whatever it has already cached. Okay, so this is how it works actually. Okay, so till now we have tried only with this ID. Okay, now I'm running this once again, right? So again this will query from the Salesforce. Okay, now see, click on send. So we'll get ideally three loggers. One is this one, this. Okay, now so that means it queried the Salesforce. Let me clear this. Now click on send. So initially we got that response in 1267 milliseconds, like more than 1 second. Okay, now click on send. So it will ideally give the response in milliseconds only, like less than 15, 20, something like that. Okay, so this is how uh, it happens. For example, now I'm going to change the record ID. Okay, so these details will be changed. Click on, sorry, paste it here. Now go to this. Let me clear the console. Okay, now we are requesting the details for another contact or another uh, contact. Yeah, correct. Another contact's information. Now click on send. It will take some time. See, it has taken more than 1 second, 1.2 seconds. Okay. Now click on send. So you see here three loggers got printed. If I clear this thing, now this time it will only print two loggers. See, let me clear this. Click on send. You see, even we are getting the response very quickly. See, two loggers. So this is how the cache works actually. So whenever you do not want to send the request again and again for the same requests. So whenever you do not want to query any database or any Salesforce CRM system or something like HTTP request as well. So so if you include HTTP request inside this cache, it works the same way. So whenever the request is same always, so it checks if there is something in the cache for this particular request. If not, it will perform the action whatever you having mentioned is in this cache, and it will get the result and it will store in the cache memory. Okay, or in memory object store. Okay, this is how default caching strategy works. Okay, for example, this way what happens if I do some modifications to one of the records. Okay, for example this one. Okay, let me check. So this is CAIQ. This is CAIQ. For example, now if I click on this, so if I change something like I'll put something like Vijay 1. So click on save. Okay, now in Salesforce system for the same record ID, we have changed the first name. Okay, now if I send this request, uh, this is CAAQ. Yeah, so this is the ID is same. If I send this request, okay, see, it is not querying the database. It is not querying the Salesforce, right? You could see the first name still as Vijay. So so at times, so it all depends actually. For example, in your system, in your backend system or something like the database, okay. So if the changes happens in certain intervals only, then this is a good approach actually to create a cache strategy for that. That is, so that this is the scenario where you can create the cache strategy. So for example, if you are uh, for every request you will be sending the same um, the same response, for example. So why to query the database always? It takes time, and also if it is down, so you uh, creating some cache for this will help you to some extent, so that way you can utilize this thing. So in this scenario I did the change in the Salesforce, okay, but here it is not reflecting, right? Even if I click one more time, if I send the request one more time, still I could see the first name as Vijay only instead of Vijay 1. Okay, so in order to minimize that uh, like default nature of this cache strategy, we can go to the custom strategy, like custom cache strategy. Okay, so you have to enable this, and what we have to do, we have to create a strategy, cache strategy. So you have to click on plus. Okay, I'll show you what I have created. So I'm editing this. Now you see here, so once you click on the plus button in the previous configuration, it will show this window. Okay, and you see here, we can configure the key value how it should be. Okay, and also you have to create one object store actually, because these keys have to be stored in the in this object store, right? So that is what. Yeah, so if you don't use this thing, it will what will happen, whatever is there in the default caching strategy, it will use that. But here we are having the control on the maximum entries, entry time to live unit, and expiration interval, etc., etc., right? So this way we have the control here. But when you use default uh, cache strategy, or if you are not going to use this object store here, only the key is what you are going to set explicitly, but remaining else will remain the same thing, like with the default cache strategy. Okay, only you are getting a chance to modify the key value. Okay, in default cache strategy, you see, as per the documentation, by default mule uses an SHA-256 key generated something. So you can go through this actually. Okay, so it by itself it will create a key actually when it is using that default caching strategy. Okay, so here when you create an object store, you are getting an option to um control the um, time to live things actually, like you have the control on this time entries, right? So here I have created the time to live for a particular key value pair as 20 seconds. Okay, and you see expiration for any particular key value pair is like 60 seconds. Okay, so this is what I have configured, and I am using the object store config. Okay, so there will be nothing here, but we have to use that. Okay, so clicking on OK, and yeah, key is what, like this is a unique value, right? So this is what I'm configuring as a key in the object store. Okay, that is what, like payload.id. So clicking on OK. Now what I'll do, I'll enable this. Okay, click started. So now we have shifted from default caching strategy to like custom caching strategy or something like that. Okay, and instead of waiting for that long actually. Okay, so now we can get the responses from the Salesforce actually, like we can query for every uh, after the key value pair expires, we can query the Salesforce. Okay, so it is still deploying. Yeah, so you see here, this is what is happening. I have configured this scheduler for every 10 seconds. Okay, and you see here, this I'm printing the this retrieve all keys response. So here, for now, there are no keys in this particular object store. This is the object store that we have built, and that is what is referred in this caching strategy, right? Yeah, object store. So now, um, like I have configured the time to live as 20 seconds, and I'm cleaning that object store for every 60 seconds. Okay. Now, yeah, so it is running for every 10 seconds, right? That is the reason you could not see anything in this array. Now let me clear this. So just click on, I'm sending one request. Okay, so click on send. now you'll see the response here as Vijay 1. Okay, and it has taken almost like 2 seconds to respond, right? And you see here, see, 3 loggers got printed as we have already seen, and you see here we could see that this particular key value, this particular ID got stored as a key value in the object store. Okay, so this key is holding the cached response or this value. Okay, and you see this got we got the response at 20 to 51 37 seconds. So from since then this will live for 60 seconds because we are doing that cleanup activities for every 60 seconds. So that's the reason you see here it is like 40 50s and 20 to 52 20 to 50 to 10 20 to 50 to 30. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this time it will be erased from the object store or from, yeah, from the object store. See, now you got nothing, so everything is cleaned up. So this is how it works. Okay, for example, I'm going to send the same request once again. So here we don't have any keys right here. Okay, now I'm going to send the same request. Click on send. See what happened. It queried, it it performed the query. Okay, so that is the reason one we could see 3 things. Okay, so now you see we could see that the same key again back in the object store. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll query the first one, the first with the first record. So copy paste. Now click on send. Now what happens again, it's a new request, so that's why it queried the Salesforce once again, and in this retrieve all keys we'll see 2 keys actually. Okay, one moment, it seems like that 60 seconds got completed. Okay, let me click once, sorry, not this one. Okay, let me use this copy. I'm using the other key, control V, click on send. See, now we could see 2 keys, right? And after some time the initial key which got stored like few seconds back or few minutes back, that will be removed. Here we have 2 keys, here we have 2 keys. At some point of time it will delete one, and after 60 seconds it will remove everything. Okay, so 10 20 30 40. See, now it has erased both the things. Okay, so this is how it works. So you can simply remove clean up the object store based upon the time entries you set here. So this is what we can do with the help of this custom caching strategy. Okay, so here I'll show you once again that max entries are nothing but you can store 100 key value pairs, and the time to live is like you're setting it for each and every key value pair, and for every 60 seconds this will try to clear the object store. Okay, so that is how, this is how it works actually. So for example, if you, let me cancel this. Okay, go to console, let me clear this. Now we have nothing, right? For example, if I send this request, so this will be shown obviously in the uh, from in the list of keys, right, in the object store. For example, this got printed at 5540, right? 20 to 5540. Now it's like we are done with 20 minute 20 seconds of its lifetime. For example, I'm going to send this request. So okay, now it is like, so it is already done with 20 seconds. Okay, you ignore these 2 things and see now from here. So from this point of time it will again live for 60 more seconds. Okay, so you see here it is like 20 to 55 59 is where it would have created that key value pair in the object store, and you see it will clean up that object store at 20 to 57 only. See, 10 20 seconds 30 seconds 40 seconds. Okay, It will it will have some value in the object store for the next 20 seconds. Okay. So yeah, from here actually, yeah. So from here 22 55 40 actually. Okay. So 22 55 50. So from here the lifetime has increased by 60 seconds. So that is the reason. Okay, you could see 50 right here. So 20 to 56. So from 50 to 55 50 to 56 it is like 10 seconds. So this is 20 30 40 and 50. So somehow like there is some little difference there, but ideally it will work for 60 seconds actually. Like when you send the request, though for example if I send now, so the lifetime of it will create newly, and if you send the same request after 15 seconds, from there the lifetime of that key will be increased by 60 seconds. So this is how it works, and I hope you understood this cache scope in Mule 4. So the advantages of this thing is to minimize the interaction with the end systems or databases or uh, HTTP APIs as well. So we can minimize that, and based upon the request, if you are sending the same request again and again, it observes that okay, I got the same request, so I'll be using the cache scope response, and also it will increase the lifetime of that key that is already there in the cache. So I hope you like this video and keep watching my videos, and thank you very much for listening to this video. Yeah, thank you.